hope you're well. I hope you're having a lovely weekend thus far. Strange, isn't it, having no football? But I'm certainly not complaining about it. It's quite nice to have a bit of a breather from it all. And I can't help but, I'm a bit of a dreamer. I'm going to be honest when it comes to football. People that don't watch this channel probably be like, yeah, I am a little bit. I try to lean on the side of optimism, and I'm always that kind of dreaming character. I can't help it. I kind of have it every week we play football. Do you know what I mean? Most of the time, if I go into a game, I always suddenly start believing that we're going to do well, and I start imagining how things are going to go. And I'm sort of doing the same with transfer windows. It's really a time I do try to look forward. And especially this season, because it does feel like an opportunity of a real clean slate to bring in some fresh players and see a new West Ham. Do you know what I mean? And I really do hope that we can get this right, because it's so vitally important that we do. There's a lot of pressure on the football club. Graham Potter, McCauley, of course, Sullivan's got to deliver, which is worrying, but it still gives you that hope, doesn't it? That you sort of think, if we can get it right, if we can bring in the players that really will work under Graham Potter and work well, then you never know. Do you know what I mean? We could really be starting to turn a page and move forward as a club and start going in the right direction. I really hope that is the case. One aspect of all of this, though, it's not just about players coming into the football club. That is, we know that's a real a big part of this summer is West Ham offloading players. That's massive, and that isn't easy. Selling players is not simple. It's not a case, they're for sale, someone's going to come in and take them. Because the way the club keep banging the drum about this constant, well, we need to sell before we can buy. We need to sell before we can buy. Well, one, I don't buy that. I'm not convinced that's true. And two, it's the fact that, well, if that is the case, then you're screwed, because you're anticipating the fact that clubs are going to come in straight away and buy your players. That doesn't work that way. It's not simple. So, especially, we talk about Kudus. Well, once Kudus is sold, well, there's not many clubs out there that have got 70, 80 million in their pocket on what to spend on one player. You're talking a handful at the best. So, and there's talk that he's not interested in going Saudi either. So, that's not helping us. So, I really do hope that there is a real plan in place here and how we're going to go about our business. I said my previous video, as I said then, the early signs I think are personally pretty good. I think we're looking okay. I like the players we're targeting. I like the fact that there's certain players that could be leaving that we need to sell. Knife for good being one. I really want to see him go. Real Sociedad apparently are still keen on him. Plus a couple of German clubs as well that are interested. So I'm becoming more hopeful we can offload him. He's kind of like one. I just feel like if we can sell him quickly, recoup some of the money back. I don't think you're going to be getting 35 million for him personally. I think you're looking more 25. But look, I would just get what we can, get some money in, build the funds up that we got available, and we can start doing some work. So I want to talk about that, though. This is what this video is about. We're talking about offloading players. Before I do, though, I want to talk about a couple of things. If you're new to the channel, do subscribe. It takes 2 seconds to do so, and we really, really do appreciate it. Also, hit that like button because it helps us to grow and bring in new fans, and as I say, we do appreciate it very much. Your support this season has been fantastic as well, by the way, so I really do want to reiterate that. It does mean a lot. Also in association with HOBBS Memorabilia. We've got the link in the description below. HOBBS Memorabilia, Martin, who runs that business, is honestly stunning work. They give us signed memorabilia every month that we're going to be giving away. So we're going to have some new bits. I'll come and talk to you about that in the next couple of weeks, and what the next prize will be and how we're going to go about that. Because obviously what we were doing previously was through BETMATE. We were doing games that we could do. It's going to be a little bit more difficult now. So we're going to work out how we're going to do that. But I'll come up with something and we'll work out how we'll get some signed memorabilia. We're also giving away already a signed JARROD BOWEN shirt, which was very well received. So really pleased about that. So go and check out HOBBS Memorabilia, though, because they've got some outstanding stuff coming up. We've got Father's Day obviously coming up. Just go and check it out. Some really good stuff, including James Tonkin's signed shirts, which are from the I think the farewell bowling season. They are stunning. I'm really, really impressed. So yeah, go and check it out. I've got the link in the description. HOBBS Memorabilia, outstanding stuff. You can't go wrong there. Right, let's talk about players that are going and staying, which I think is quite interesting. This has come from ex-WHU employee on the West Ham Way Patreon. He said, the club can be prepared to consider offers for most players this summer. These include both Mavropanos and Jean-Claire Todibo. Mavropanos, I'm going to be honest, I've actually been fine with him recently. I've actually thought that he's looked all right. I know he's got that mistake in him. I've always felt that, he's got that anxiety about him. But I actually think if you look at the last couple of months of the season, I felt that him and Cresswell were probably our better centre-back pairing. Really do. Like in terms of performers. I haven't been impressed with Kilman. I certainly haven't been impressed by Todibo either. At times I like him, at times I can't stand him. I don't know where I am with him, really. But this is what X has said on Todibo. Whilst Todibo has completed his obligation terms on his loan to become a permanent player at the club, the player is apparently open now to leave him. Whilst on social media he has expressed a desire to stay, it's thought that he is now prepared to make a move if the right offer comes in. Cash in. I've got to be honest. I'm not sold on Todibo. I don't understand his fitness. We've had him now for a whole season. Still doesn't feel like he can see out a full game, even though he has. He's never looked comfortable. I've heard that he regularly calls over to the bench saying, I need to come off, which is becoming very frustrating. You don't want to have a centre-back every game needing to come off because they're feeling exhausted. Like, there's a problem here, isn't there? You're thinking, he's not like he's just joined the club and he's trying to pick up his pace or he's getting over an injury. He's been in months now, months and months, and we're still experiencing this issue. And then you've then got this kind of Jekyll and Hyde performances from him. Sometimes you watch him play and think, oh, bloody hell, he looks a real good player and he looks really slick. He's sort of got, it reminds me a little bit of, not so much like Rio Ferdinand, but that confidence that Rio used to have, that carrying the ball out and just looking calm and so collected on it. And I look at him sometimes and it reminds me of that. And then I watch him sometimes and I just think he's all over the place. He's just clattering into players. He's late. He looks lazy. He looks disinterested. I just think for a player of his price, well, I think you would be able to get your money back, possibly even with a profit. I just think move him on. And this update from X has just confirms to me, I mean, the fact that he's putting out social media posts saying, look, I want to stay at West Ham, but apparently I understand behind the scenes he's happy to move on. Just move him on then. So it's understood anyway from X that Graham Potter has said that both players, Mavropanos and Todibo, can leave the club. Emerson is another player who has become frustrated with his lack of game time towards the end of the season. And in a recent social media cryptic tweet even, seems to suggest he could be on the move. I don't know why it's got to end like this, really, with Emerson, because he's been a good player for us. I think he's come to West Ham, right? Reputation a little bit shaky, maybe. Didn't do brilliantly at Chelsea. I think the West Ham move has been brilliant for him. He's come in. He's been a good player for us overall. I was unsure at the beginning, and he sort of calmed those with some really good performances. He was a key player for us. Of course, was in that final, and he's been a big player for us. And I actually feel that I think he's done all right under Graham Potter. I know that he's being phased out, but I think it's right time for him to move on anyway. I'm a bit disappointed, and I don't like the fact that he basically, I haven't got it to hand, this social media post he did, but basically it was along the lines of, the truth will come out soon, which kind of indicates he's fallen out with a manager or something, or he's being shafted by the club. I think it doesn't need to be like that. I hope it's not like that with him, because I've got good memories of Emerson. I think he's been a good player for us, and sometimes you just get that feeling with some players, I think they misread things, and you think, you're a footballer, it's life, you move on, managers come in, when you play, you haven't got to be all, you don't take it all personally, is it? It's not a personal attack. It's just the manager's come in and say, this is what I want to do with the team, and that's the life of a footballer. So yeah, just a bit disappointing. I don't like all that stuff. So anyway, I don't think he'll be here next season, and it's a time for him to move on. Tomas Soucek is very keen to stay at West Ham. He's pushing for a new deal, and Potter is said to be open to offers for the player, although he's not actually actively looking to sell him. I'm really torn with it. Now the season's finished and the dust is starting to settle, and we're looking now at a transfer window and moving forward, I'm leaning more to selling, actually. As much as I really like Tomas Soucek, he's been a fantastic player for West Ham. And by the way, I wouldn't be annoyed if he kept him. I'm not saying he'd better go. But a part of me feels that if he's not going to be part of Graham Potter's system next season, if Graham Potter's got a vision for how he wants to be playing his football, and he wants a better ball playing players, more pace and power in the team, and Soucek just isn't fitting that, maybe it's a good time to sell. I think for PSR's situation as well, it is a good time to sell. Doing a video with Gio on this to kind of understand. I'm understanding PSR better as time's going on, and I feel like I need to learn more actually from people that know. And Gio is one of those people. Gio from Hammers Chat, I'm talking about, if you didn't know. But basically, because we've paid for Tomas Soucek now, effectively, it's like if you sell him now on PSR books, that's full profit. So if you sold him for £20 million, that's £20 million bang on the books. It's profit this season and going forward. So I really, really like the idea of actually thinking that this is probably a good time to sell Soucek anyway. And the fact is, if he isn't going to be playing him, there's not much point, is there? If there's a player there that's worth 20, £25 million and Everton are willing to pay it, or whoever's willing to pay it, it might be worth utilising that if we've got a clear plan. So I'm starting to lean more towards selling. And also as well, I've got to be honest, the team has been so crap this season overall. I want to rip it up. I really do. I want to just tear it all up and just start again. And I don't want to be caught up on sentimental value on it. I think sometimes you need to sort of take those glasses off and just be a bit ruthless and say, look, who's the best team we want here? Who's the best players we want for the team? And if Soucek's just not part of that plan for Graham Potter, then I'm sort of feeling that, well, it's probably a good thing. It's probably a good time, to move him on. But as I say, if West Ham don't, I'm not going to be, spitting my toys out of the pram. I'll throw my toys out even. Spit my toys out? Spit my dummy out over it. Whatever. You get my gist. I'm going to act like a right baby, basically. I won't be doing that. Interesting though. X has also advised others are more likely to remain under Potter. Others are more likely to remain under Potter for next season, including Luis Guilherme. So this is words from X. Then we have James Ward-Prowse, who is at this stage is likely to stay, as well as Luis Guilherme. Luis Guilherme has interest in Europe and from domestic clubs for his signature, and a loan offer could be made, but Potter may wish to hold on to him now for another season. I don't understand why Guilherme hasn't been used recently as much as he should have been, in my opinion. I've been really impressed with him, actually. I think he is looking... He kind of fits for me, he's the player that fits what Graham Potter keeps saying he wants. He wants this attacking, team, and he wants this exciting team and more direct and pacey. Well, that's Guilherme, do you know what I mean? And so anyway, I'm liking this news. I like the fact that Graham Potter's leaning towards keeping Guilherme. I really hope that is the case, because that again sends another right message. The fans will be right behind that. I think fans as a whole are liking Guilherme, what we're seeing from him. I'm really impressed with his attitude. I like the fact he keeps his head down. He don't moan. It's always on social media about every game. Come on, you irons, go and get the result. That's even when he's not even in the squad. And when we win, he's all about it. I just like the guy. And I know people go, he ain't doing that. It's his management, whatever. But whatever, he's obviously part of that, and I just think, I don't know, I like the guy. I've been really pleased with him, and the fact he's come to this club at such a crappy time, horrible season, and the fact he comes out with a big smile on his face and still wants to do well. I'm starting to really feel like this could be a player that can fit well and do well at West Ham under Graham Potter. So I'm really, really pleased with that update, and I really hope that is the case, that we do hang on to him. The last part, though, is regarding Nicholas Fullkrug, and Nicholas Fullkrug has said he wishes to remain at the club. But again, this will depend on what players come in this summer. So a little bit up in the air with Fullkrug, isn't it? I wouldn't mind him as a backup. I think overall he's proven to be a decent player to have at the club. I think he's got a good attitude in terms of when he's on the pitch. I think he comes across as a leader. I like him. I like the guy. And as much as people will point out videos I did, way back, and I was saying bloody get rid of him, and he obviously don't want to be here. The fact is he wants to be here now. So it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. If West Ham can bring in other players for him to leave, I've got no problem with that. But if he wants to stay, and then he'll be our backup striker, and we'll get another one in, I don't see it being an issue for me. And I think most fans would agree with that. I think he's proven to be a pretty popular player amongst the fan base, and is one of our better players this season. So yeah, that's where we are. I mean, for me, that update, the best piece of news for me was Guilherme. I like the fact that there's a feeling that he's going to be staying next season and working under Potter. So that's really good news. And that's it for now at the moment. As I say, I've got a video doing with Gio. I'm hoping to have it done. It depends on timescales, but I really want to get his take on this PSR stuff and cash flow issues, because the club are using this line continuously. We need to sell before we can buy because of PSR. It's just bullshit. It's not right. It's just not true in what they're saying. So we need to just get someone that understands it and can talk better about it than I can. I'm going to get Gio on, but when that'll be, I don't know. Hopefully it'll be a bit later today, but I'll, you'll keep your eyes out for it. So hopefully it'll be a bit later on this evening. But look, enjoy the rest of your weekend, what's left of it. And take care. And I will speak to you very soon. Come on, you irons.